Yo, what's going on? Here, Sunny from an undisclosed hotel somewhere. You guys know that I'm working on this move. And hey, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for bearing with me. I know I haven't pushed as many videos as I would like or as I usually have, but again, not in the same place that I usually am. So hopefully audio, video is okay. If not, let me know. Also, I know this is not the usual day that we do streaming. So again, thank you for everybody that will be in this live stream, or if you're listening to the replay. One thing that I would want you to know right now, one thing that I want to see in those comments is give me your score prediction for Monday Night Football. It is the battle that everyone wants to see, the top two teams in the league. And here with me, two podcasters from the Chiefs side. Their information is down in the description. You can see their website and also the Twitter handle. Please give a welcome to Mr. JP and Caleb. How are you guys doing, fellas?
How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Hey, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a fun one. So let's start with, you know, we all know this is the matchup, which I'm surprised it came up for week 3. I thought it was gonna be more in the middle of the year. Well, you guys have beaten us twice in your home field. Then the year that we get the home field, boom, we have no fans, so it's really home field's not a big deal. The travel is the only thing, but other than the travel, there's no fans to affect the play at all. So I'm gonna start with your defense against our offense, right? What do you think your defense is gonna do to stop Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense?
Well, I tell you, it's actually 3-0 when you really go backwards. We got you in 17 with Alex Smith too, but
oh yeah, I guess I was saying with Lamar, since Lamar's
well, Lamar and with Lamar and Mahomes. The one thing everybody kind of, I guess, fails to see is a lot of times we tend to start off slow and then we pick it up, later on down the line during the game. And last week we had some mishaps, with the Chargers game, which a rival team, it doesn't matter how good or bad they are. You're always going to have problems within your division. It just is what it is. You guys have had that problem. We've had that problem. The defense, for the most part, we are missing a few key players, but in the same aspect, we've got some guys that can fill in as well. So I don't know. It's going to be a tight game. What do you think, Caleb?
I think what the Chiefs are going to have to do is just stop Lamar Jackson in general. We're going to have our linebackers are going to have to be a lot faster and be more agile. Lamar Jackson can spread defenses out, and we need fast linebackers, like I've told you, JP, like Darnell Daniel, Willie, throwing up maybe Armani Watts as a linebacker safety hybrid to see how they're going to do, because Lamar is no joke. He was MVP last year for the reason. So it's going to be a good game, and I think the Chiefs can stop them, but it's going to be depending on the adjustments in game and what they can do moving forward.
100%. That's the biggest key right there, is stopping Lamar. The guy's so agile and he can run. And, when you got a guy that can, is a dual threat, that it's difficult for any team. It doesn't matter who it is. It's difficult for any team, no matter who good or bad their defense is. It's rough. It's hard to stop a guy like him, We've been fortunate enough to be able to do that a couple of times, but, we'll just see how it goes, I guess. What do you think, man? What's your prediction on your defense against our offense?
Well, let me finish. Let's finish with your defense against our offense. So I'm gonna tell you a couple key things that I'm looking at, and you guys can rebuttal what I'm saying. So main thing I see is for our offense, I think I don't see who do you have on the defense that can stop in the case of Mark Andrews, right? As the tight end for Baltimore. He is excellent. He's been playing really good. Last week, the Texans did a very good effort just making sure he didn't do anything, but that took two guys. They basically were bracketing throughout the game, which allowed some of the other players to step up. And the running games that, we have a three-headed monster on the running back side. And between the three of them, they average over 100 yards. So that's one of the things I think there will be a mismatch against the Chiefs. I think your corners are also – I think the Ravens receivers I think our GM, one of the main things he did, he looked at the Chiefs model, to be honest, and they say like they have fast receivers. We need fast receivers, and we went and got some guys that are very speedy with with Hollywood Brown and Devin Duvernay. Also Hopkins or Boykins, sorry, Boykins is also fast in a straight line. So I'm not sure how. I love Tyrann Matthews. Don't get me wrong. I think Tyrann Matthews might be the best or near the best safety in the league, but the corners on the other side, I think the receivers' opportunities there. On the flip side, I think one thing that has me very, very concerned is Chris Jones, sorry, and that interior D line against our interior O line. Our interior O line has been disastrous this year. It's been very, very bad since the retired Marshall Yanda. Our center came back from ACL and all the other CLs that he blew in Week 10 last year. And he's been bad. He's been slow, and I'm afraid Lamar is getting sacked this year more than last year, and it's been all through the middle, and necessarily through the edges, but through the middle, he's getting a lot of pressure. And when you get pressure through the middle, it's hard to escape that pressure. It's hard to maneuver yourself out of that pressure. So that has me concerned more than anything from your defense. But what do you think of what I'm saying?
I agree with you. I mean, we're kind of going through the same thing. I mean, our offensive line has been somewhat iffy this year, especially in the second game. We lost Tardif. He decided to go in. He is a doctor, and he decided to go ahead and help with COVID, and that's kind of hurt us. I mean, we feel it. Last week, I've never seen Pat pressured as much as he was last week. As far as defense is concerned, people are underestimating our corners. We've got a rookie corner by the name of Sneed that has turned out to be an absolute beast, and that kid has really just surprised a lot of people. I don't know if he's been burned yet in 2 games. He's extremely fast, and he's very, very smart. His football IQ is up there. So it's going to be a good matchup, I think, as far as that's concerned. He's fast, he's agile, and he understands where to go when he needs to be there. That's going to be a huge help as far as that's concerned. We did lose one of our good corners, but I'm thinking he may be playing this week. Charvarius Ward broke a bone in his hand, and it's not going to stop him. I mean, they kept him out 1 game, but he's still a great corner in this league. And I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a shooting match one way or another. One thing I can say is that, and I don't know if it's improved or not, and Caleb can chime in on this anytime he wants. Lamar seems, when he's under pressure, or if he's got 2 or 3, if he's got a wide receiver that's covered, maybe a 2 cover or 3 cover wide receiver, he has a hard time hitting that target. And sometimes we've kind of caught on to that a little bit. It may have improved this year. Now, he did look good, a lot better last year. If he had a wide open wide receiver, he was on top of it. I mean, there was no doubt. He's, in my opinion, probably one of the best, if not the second best quarterback in the league right now. And I'm hoping and I'm going to say Mahomes is number 1 right now, because right now, I mean, anybody would say he would be, really, in most respects. But what do you think, Caleb?
Yeah, so just listen to what you had to say. When you brought up Mark Andrews, yeah, he is a good tight end, but I think that Tyrann Mathieu can shut him down, and I am confident that our defensive defenders can stop him. I've seen Mark Andrews actually bail out Lamar Jackson many times because he's overthrown him. He's thrown a catch with 1 hand here or there. Now, I agree with you saying that the offensive line on both teams are struggling right now, but the one thing I've noticed, the Ravens love to run the ball. Last year, the Chiefs were down 6-0 going to the second quarter. They scored 23 straight points, and then the Ravens had to abandon their run game and had to try to pass the ball the rest of the game. They got close to winning, but it was basically kind of almost over. As we all know, the Chiefs won. So I think that the Ravens, if they're getting down by a couple scores, they're going to have to abandon the run game. They're going to have to rely on Lamar Jackson's arm. Now, it has gotten better from last year, but this game will tell if he can stand out and push it to the limit.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say this Ravens team is very different from what the team that we saw on week 3 last year, which is exactly the same week. The reason why in that game we didn't have Jimmy Smith. We didn't have Marcus Peters. And this is on the defense, so it's a good segue. Our defense was very different, right? Our linebackers, we picked two guys off the street after your game because our linebacking core was so bad. And we added the two corners. We added Calais Campbell and Derek Wolf, which I know you guys are very familiar with since you're coming from your division. So, segueing to your offense against our defense, what do you see that matchup? How do you see it playing out? Obviously, you guys have Mahomes, and I will say something. I will give Mahomes the benefit of the doubt that he's the best quarterback in the league. Lamar Jackson hasn't beat him one-on-one yet, and he has to throw, right? He won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs did. And as of right now, you're the defending champions. And until somebody is crowned champion other than the Chiefs, that's the title. You guys hold it. So, saying all that, who do you think, or what do you think are the mismatches you think the Chiefs have over the Ravens and your offense versus our defense?
Well, one mismatch I already see is Travis Kelce. No one has been able to really cover him. He's able to get open and make the plays needed. The way teams have been loving to play the Chiefs is they like to put two players over the top to stop the big play in order so Tyreek Hill can't get it down the field. That always allows Travis Kelce in the middle of the field to pickpocket when Mahomes are allowed to get 5, 7, 8-yard gains time after time after time. Now, if you guys want to double Kelce, Tyreek Hill's open over the top. And let's not forget Demarcus Robinson last year with a one-handed catch. He stepped up big. Mecole Hardman, who was a rookie, stepped up great, caught an, I think, 82-yard touchdown catch. So, I mean, there's just a lot of different things. I think what the Chiefs will probably try to do is maybe just try to do what they did last year, spread them out, just kind of see how the defense goes, because this is going to be a boxing match. It's going to be a lot of blows. Given back and forth, like Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive corner, said. So it's going to be a very interesting game. What do you think, JP?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's difficult for any defense when you have really basically the three fastest running or wide receivers in the league, and then you've got the top tight end in the league, and then you've got a running back in Edwards-Helaire that just came out of nowhere and surprised the world with what he did. His game is, he came out like a veteran. And when you've got that kind of weapons or those type of weapons on the field all at the same time, it's just like no matter who I've talked to, whether it's been Kurt Warner or anyone else, they've all said the same thing. How do you stop him? How can you stop the three-headed, like you said, you got a three-headed monster in the backfield. We got a four-headed monster, in the wide receiver core. So it's very difficult to stop somebody that has, or a team that has so many different weapons, and then you've got somebody that's as accurate as Mahomes, off a back foot can throw a ball 70 yards. It's a little scary, and be accurate with it. He threw one last week to Tyreek that was, I don't know if anybody could have made that throw, and Tyreek caught it. It may be Aaron Rodgers, yeah. I mean, honestly, it was off his back foot while he was getting tackled and launched this ball perfectly, and Tyreek was double covered, dropped it on the 1-yard line basically, and Tyreek rolled into the end zone. And it was a phenomenal throw. I mean, it was so targeted that I don't know if another wide receiver could have caught it, number one. But Tyreek was down there, and he was playing a little sore. He wasn't up to par last week. I mean, everybody saw it. He was running a little bit funny, and he's got a little calf injury, or he did, and he's better now. But it's just difficult, And then you're the same way. I mean, you guys have got Lamar Jackson. You've got two great wide receivers, a good tight end, and you've got a massive, running back that can actually do phenomenal things. So it's just going to be a beast of a matchup, man. I mean, I think, you got the two top teams in the league playing each other right now, and it's a phenomenal game to watch. I mean, it reminds me going backwards. If you remember the 18 game against the Rams, at that time it was the Rams and the Chiefs that were battling it out, highest scoring Monday Night Football game ever. And granted, the refs were no help. I mean, you guys have had the same problem that we've had with refs over the years, especially the last 3 years. And it was pretty evident last week. I was watching coaches film earlier and over the Chargers game last week, and it was horrible. I mean, in that first half, it was absolutely horrid. It was like their head ref was a Chargers fan without fail. I mean, you blatant holding calls that he just stood right there and watched it happen and let it go. And we've got, that's something that has to be stopped as well. I don't know how you feel about the refs, but that's always going to happen no matter what. But I think if they're going to fine a player for doing something and a ref makes a huge mistake like they did with the Saints and the Chiefs, or the Saints when they, that blatant hit, against the Rams, that ref should be fined just as well. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just like for the rest, for me, I just ask for consistency. I would say the refs this year look to me that they are allowing more physicality, which I enjoy. I'll prefer that, and I see that there's an emphasis called the OPI, which I also think it should be because defenses have been put in this disadvantage throughout the league, so at least OPI balances a little bit more. Anyway, but if I think of this matchup between your offense and our defense, so by the way, Sammy Watkins scheduled to play, or is he still like more doubtful?
Right now, it looks like he's going to play. So.
Okay. So I think main thing will be, can we pressure Patrick Mahomes? And the reality is the Ravens blitz a lot, and when they blitz a lot, they put man on those receivers. And you guys have great receivers, and in our case, in my opinion, we have great corners. We talk about Marlon Humphrey. He has shut down Odell Beckham Jr. a bunch of times, and other great receivers. We have Peters, a guy that I know you guys are familiar with. I think he has thrived in our defense. I think if this defense fit him, he went to the Rams, and that wasn't the type of defense that he was used to, and obviously he didn't play as well. But with the Ravens, I mean, he has been here not even 16 games, and he has three or four picks, a couple of them pick sixes, including last week, a beautiful read. He bailed his man because he was reading Watson, and he dove in for a pick. And then we had Jimmy Smith, and Jimmy Smith this year was essentially his main job. His corner, that he is 6'3", very physical corner. He used to be on the outside, and his main job is, and I think they did it just because of the Chiefs, contain that tight end, match him one-on-one, slow him down. I don't think we can stop Kelsey. I don't think anybody can stop Kelsey at this point. I don't think anybody could stop Gronk when Gronk was in his peak. But slow him down a little bit. And I think Jimmy Smith has the physicality to slow him down, not shut him down, slow him down a little bit. I don't think they're going to try to double team Kelsey. I don't think they're going to try to double team Hill. They're probably going to have a safety over the top throughout the game, but I don't think they're going to try to just make sure Hill gets double teamed. And when there's blitz, they might just have some, padding on it. Now, going back to the point, yes, I think this is a game that our D-line needs to come up and step up their game. They need to figure out how to pressure Mahomes, especially like you said, the inside of the O-line looks to me, in my opinion, to be a little bit weaker. This is where Calais Campbell needs to come in and wolf, and dominate that middle of the of your O-line. If for some reason that happens, I think that game can change quickly. The other thing is, like you said, the Chiefs look to me that they're slow starters, and then it's like they need a little bit of time to warm up, and then boom, boom, boom. Well, the Ravens, usually they start hot. So if they can start hot and then control the TOP, that's going to be huge. So I think this is a game that the Chiefs need to not, avoid the slow start, because if they do the slow start and the Ravens come in hot, it can be disastrous for the Chiefs. But overall, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think I'm actually looking forward more to see your offense against our defense than the other way around. I think all things considered, let's call these top two offenses in the league, right? 1 and 2, whoever. You can rank the Chiefs first for all I care. I mean, right now statistically, I think the Ravens are first, but just assume that the Chiefs are better for now. But I think the other side, when I flip it, I think our defense is considerably better, and this is where I give the Ravens the edge. But what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Caleb. I'll let you start with this one.
So yeah, I see what you're saying. Like you're giving your defenses an edge, and I think that they have improved greatly. It's like I said earlier. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be chess pieces. We're going to see how teams are going to be good react to each other. I just feel like our wide receiver core plus our tight end group is pretty much unguardable in certain situations. I remember one year when the Chiefs played against the top defense league, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars, literally broke that team 2 years in a row because they had all these defensive pieces and they were able to just come in, basically make them look really bad. Now, this Ravens game, hey, the Ravens could shut them down. I mean, it's very possible, but I think that it's going to be very difficult either way for both teams because you have that receiving core is just like no other. You got to pick who you're going to double team in certain places, and that's going to leave another person open. And we haven't even really brought in Sammy Watkins to the equation. I mean, Sammy Watkins gets hot sometimes. I mean, he will just show up and have some of the games of his life. So I'm just saying, it doesn't matter if you're the first receiver or the fifth receiver. They're going to make plays.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And, with everything said and done, as you look at going back to something you said, the Chiefs are a little slow starters. The Chiefs have always been kind of notorious for kind of getting a feel for the game and seeing how things are going to go, usually in that first quarter. We're a second quarter team. We have been for 2 years. And if you get into that mode like we are, you can't give Mahomes very much time. If you give him 6 minutes and he's down 2 or 3 touchdowns, he's going to score 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Agreed.
So it's very difficult no matter who we're playing. I saw the comment. It said, but you're playing Lamar Jackson.
Versus Blake Bortles.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, I seen it. Regardless, it's very difficult to say, well, I know there's regardless if whoever it is that starts hot, it doesn't make a difference who it is. They can start hot all day. I mean, we've been down. Look at last year during the playoffs. We were down 10, 20, 24. We won by 10, 20, 23. And that was all at the end of, usually from anywhere from the second quarter on. So we just we adapt ourselves to what we see and we move forward from there. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight. It really is. We've had teams up on us 24-0 and we've come back and won by 20 points. So I think it's going to just be a matter of game plan, time management, and execution.
Can I add one more thing to that real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. The one thing I said that I saw that one guy said, this is Lamar Jackson, not Blake Bortles, but I remember last year when the Chiefs played Lamar Jackson, they were winning 23-6 at halftime. So, I mean, it just shows that if the Chiefs defense can put a team out of their element in game plan, it's going to be very difficult. So that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that was a good comment on that guy. Thank you.
So you think this Chiefs defense is better than the Chiefs defense from last year?
I think they have the potential to be better.
Correct.
Yeah,
Take them a couple games to gel, but yeah.
Yeah. So main thing will be, and this is the reason I said, if you start slow, it could be problematic, is because right now, as far as 2 games, right? This is all the sample size we have. We have the sample size of 2 games. Right now, you guys are allowing about 5 yards per carry or something like that. So versus a team that runs the ball well, if we jump up to an early lead 14, and I mean I agree with you, the Chiefs until it's double zeros at the end, they're not out. They're not. I mean, that's the reality. So, but if we are up by so much and we start grinding it out and running the ball, the problem is, it's not that the Mahomes can't do it. I know he can. I have I'm not gonna dispute that. But he needs the ball. And if we start grinding it out, running the ball, pounding the ball, eating that time, well, now and then finish that with scores, that's where it's gonna be difficult. That's the only thing. Now, if the Chiefs, or let me go back to a point that you brought. I agree also with you. If we leave Mahomes and we give him time, not only time to come back in the game, but time in the pocket, he's gonna pick us apart. There's no doubt. I mean, that a lot of quarterbacks can do that, but especially Mahomes. Mahomes is an excellent quarterback. It's the reason why he got top dollars in this year, and he was worth every penny, in my opinion. So, saying that again, I think the Chiefs are a great team. I think, battle of the top two teams, but the slow start against the Ravens could be difficult because you're playing against a team that runs the ball well. Versus if you think about the Texans last year, they jump up to a big lead, right? But the Texans had two problems. They have a bad O line and they couldn't run the ball. So if they cannot run the ball, they cannot shoot up clock, right? And that allowed what Mahomes to bam, 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 and the Texans didn't have a way to just hold the ball, keep that defense, or give their defense a breather, and just calm the game down, right? When you're running the ball, you're calming that game down. It's like playing half court in basketball, right? Versus just a fast break. The Chiefs are a fast break team. Would you agree? Like if you go into an alley of basketball, they're bam, bam, bam. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is an amazing running back. And this channel, people know that I thought the Chiefs' best team was not the team that won the Super Bowl. Was the team when Hunt was there. Kareem Hunt was such a mismatch. Yes, Kelsey is and Hill is, but Tariq Hunt, he could run between the tackles, he can run the stretch, and he can catch. And I think that's what CEH brings to you guys too. So I think CEH could be problematic for the Ravens. He's going against his fellow teammate, Patrick Queen. So I'm hoping Queen knows some insight how to play him, but he can be a problem. I think that is actually the key. Can we contain CEH? Because, like I said earlier, I don't think we can stop the rest of the team. Can we contain or we can slow them down a little bit? And then, in my opinion, they need to figure out how to stop CEH. If they can stop CEH and go make that team and the Chiefs one-dimensional, they have a chance. What do you guys think?
So,
I agree.
Go ahead, JP.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I agree. I mean, right now we're looking at the average yards per carry right now. You guys are at 5.1. We're at 5.2. You got a slight edge on us with total yards, and I think that a lot of that has to do with Lamar. But I agree with you in a lot of ways. I know with our team, and I'm sure Caleb will agree, we can start slow, and we can be down a couple touchdowns. I mean, we've been down this year a couple times. Heck, last week we were down, and if you can't give him any time. That's the thing. Last week we were, God, I think our time of possession was absolutely horrid.
It was terrible.
What's that?
I was saying, yeah, it was very terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I think we had our time of possession they had the ball almost 3 times as long as we did. But we threw the ball for 60 yards in the first half, 67 yards, and threw for 276 yards in the second half, and 3 touchdowns. So it's going to come down to, are you guys going to be able to handle holding that time of possession to the end of the game? That's going to be the biggest thing. Is it going to be, you can't leave us 3 minutes and be up 2 touchdowns. It's going to have to come down to that. So, and it's the same direction going both ways. I mean, we tend to turn it on when we're down because Mahomes, they release him and they say, do what you do. We're not going to, you go off what you see instead of the game plan. And they've done that. And numerous times they've done that. And it's been evident during not only the Ravens games that we play, but every other game that we played that we've been down. They'll tell Mahomes, go out there and do your thing. And he goes out there without a game plan, picks it and just picks people apart. And he does it quickly. So a lot of times they'll start off with a game plan that Bieniemy and Reed put together. And if it's not working, they'll say, okay, Mahomes, go do your thing. Just do what you know how to do.
Yeah, but I guess my point is more like, I think you asked the right question. Can the Ravens, if they jump to a lead, can they sustain it, basically, right? Can they then grind the game up? We've seen this, right? We've seen that's what they're doing. Now, what is fair is if we start on the other side losing, can we come back and win the game?
Exactly.
But the Ravens, since Lamar from last year on, right? Since he was the year that started from week 1 last year on, if they jump to a lead early, oh, they hold to that lead and they just swallow the time. They just grind. As soon as they're up by 10, they go again. They go half court, and then if you start box or stacking people in the box, then they hit you up for a big one, right? And that's the thing. That's again goes back to the starting slow of the Chiefs. I think this is a game, and then that's the point that I was trying to bring. This is a game that different from other teams that what you have started slow, that maybe they cannot just grind the game down and slow it down and just shoot up clock, right? And I understand the Chargers did that with the rookie, but they couldn't score points. So we're talking about a team that can score points here. But other teams like the Texans, again, a team that you guys were losing big earlier last year in the playoff game, but they couldn't run the ball. They didn't have the ability. So when they needed to slow the game down, just grind the game down, they didn't have the ability. And obviously, again, I think Mahomes is an excellent quarterback, and your offense is an explosive offense that can strike quick and light and like lightning. So at that point, the Texans needed to slow the game down and just run the ball, and they couldn't have the ability. So I think this game is gonna be a great match. I don't think it's gonna be like the Rams and you guys were in the 50s. I think it was that game. I think it's gonna be a game in like the 30s. Is what I'm thinking.
You mean total points?
No. Like
Oh,
you
per
guys
team.
play the Rams, and it was like 50 something to 50 something or 50 something
Yeah,
to
54
40.
to 51.
Yeah, 54,
Exactly.
51. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's this game.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I can see a 40-point game. I can see a 45-point game. I can see
Ooh.
that coming. I really can. I mean, you got two explosive offenses and you've got two relatively good defenses that can really pick the ball off at any point, and that's what you really have to look at as a whole. I mean, if you've got two teams that can last year. Now, granted, with the Rams, when we played the Rams, we were ranked 31st in defense.
Yeah,
We
2
were
years
horrible.
ago. Mhm.
That was 2 years ago. We were absolutely horrid. I mean, our defense, Mahomes carried us through the entire season to the AFC Championship game. It was embarrassing as a Chiefs fan to watch our defense just let people run up and down the field on us. They don't do that as much anymore. Last year we didn't allow it. This year we've had our bumps and bruises, but again, that was a rival team and it was a damn good defense. The Chargers do have a really good defense. Regardless of what people want to say, their defense is strong. And I got to give it Herbert all the props in the world. That kid stepped in with really no reps with the starters and played his ass off. And we weren't prepared for that. I mean, you practice, every team does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You practice all week to play a certain group of guys, and mainly the quarterback. And within a split second, that quarterback is gone. And your whole game plan is based around a certain guy that is no longer there. And you got a rookie that steps in that's trying to prove himself and actually did one hell of a job. I mean, I got to give it to that kid. I don't know. You guys played the Browns and who else?
The
Texans.
And the Texans. The Browns, I mean, Caleb will tell you, I say it on the show all the time, I don't see them winning more than 6 games this year. I just don't. I don't see them doing any more than they've done for the last 2 years. I don't know why. I just don't. There's way too many egos in that room, and there's way too much confrontation going on most of the time for them to get any further than where they're going. The Texans, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. They're just the Texans. They seem to kind of crumble when times get hard on them. They do crumble pretty quick. You guys have seen that just as well as we have. So I don't know. When you got two teams that are very competitive and good and are able to come back and forth, that's what makes a good football game. Mm-hmm. It's not fun to. Okay, I'll give you an analogy, and maybe this will help. Last year, they had the Patriots as the number 1 defense through, I think it was by the 3rd week, they were number 1. Then week 4, number 1. I think it was week 4, and I think Caleb will say it. Week 4, I posted, Wait till week 9 hits. Wait till they have to play a real team. Week 9, they played you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And they got beat really bad.
And
You
they
got
got
the breaks
their
off
ass
of them.
beat. Now, at the end of that game, or the end of that season, we were ranked, I think, 5th overall in defense. They were ranked 29th or 23rd or 24th. And the only reason they were ranked that good is just simply because they were ranked number 1 for the first 8 games. So it doesn't help when you're ranked half the season you're ranked number 1, and then the second half of the season you're ranked dead last. It's going to fall somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
So, it kind of that's what I mean by it's not fun to watch a team or a game, I should say, when you've got a horrid offense or a horrid defense playing a great offense and even a decent defense. It's just not that fun. But when you're watching two teams like the Ravens and the Chiefs play, and on both sides of the ball, you've got great players, it's going to come down to a shooting match, and whoever has a better game plan, in my opinion, is going to win the game.
And one thing I would like to add to what JP just said is that the Chiefs defense has made stops when necessary. I remember during the playoffs when they were down 24-0, they made the stops. In the divisional round, the AFC Championship game, even the Super Bowl, when their backs were against the wall, Tyrann Mathieu was able to rally that defense with Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Bashaud Breeland, able to rally together and make the necessary stops. So that just tells me that, yeah, they're not the best defense, but when it comes down to it, they will get the stop necessary. And same for the Ravens. They will get the stops necessary. So it's going to be a chess match. Both coaching staffs are going to be playing a chess game with each other, trying to figure out what they're going to do to outwit one another.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't know if it's more the players than it is the coaches that are going to have to figure this game out. So
yeah, I agree. So hey, it's been a great conversation. I think this is the time where we're gonna go score prediction. Everybody in the chat can do their score prediction. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead again, put a comment, score prediction, and also take your time and hit that like button and share this the video. Anyway, so you guys, I'm gonna start with you guys. Either one of you can start. I don't know if JP or Caleb want to start first. Give me your score prediction, who wins, and if you have any dramatic way that this game's gonna end, also just you can plug it there.
Go ahead, Caleb.
I think the Chiefs can go up and win this game 38-24. I think the Chiefs are going to possibly start off slow in the beginning, but they're going to hit their stride. I think the Ravens are going to be down by a couple possessions, and that's going to cause them to rely more on Lamar's arm, and that's going to really show if his receiving core can help him out. They're going to have to stop. The run game will not be non-existent, but it'll be lessened in effect. So I think the Chiefs are going to win 38-24.
Yeah. What's your prediction for your game, man? What do you think?
You want me to go before you?
Yeah, you go next, man.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I think this is a game that's going to be a grind of the game. I think the Ravens will start hot early. I think the Chiefs will catch up a little bit with them, enough that they're going to tie it late. And I think the Ravens will march down for a 40-something yard field goal to end the game 31-28. Hell of a match, Ravens.
All right. Well, I predicted, I think, what did I say, Caleb? I think it was 34-17. Am I not right? Isn't that what I predicted?
I think that's
34-17. Yeah, I think I predicted it 34-17 Chiefs.
Blowout.
Yeah, and it's not a blowout. Blowout would be 34-0. 34-17, I think it's going to end up being – I think we're going to start off slow like we do every game. I think we're going to figure out your game plan. And then I think it's going to end up being a situation that they're going to release Mahomes and let him do what he wants to do. And if he does, I mean, it's kind of over. One thing I know that did happen, I will give you guys this. After last week's game, Tyrann Mathieu lost his mind in the locker room. And Caleb knows I have a lot of contacts within that organization. And he lost it. He did not like the way things turned out, as far as us not stopping certain plays, letting things happen that shouldn't have happened, the missed tackles, things of that nature. That won't happen again. He's not going to let it happen again. And he made that very clear. And he goes out and he works with these guys to make them better. So I think this week they're going to be pretty fired up because they came close last week to losing a game they shouldn't have even been near close to losing, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But, it is what it is. he puts a fire under people's butt real quick. So that's why he's the leader on that defense. There's a reason why he's there. So
I think as you guys are motivated because, like you said, you guys were to a close game against a team that, as you described, shouldn't be in that with you guys. I think the Ravens, especially Lamar Jackson, takes this game personally because I think he sees it as a marquee game for him.
Yeah.
So as you say, your team is motivated. I think the Ravens team is super motivated as well. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I can see it as potentially losing again. 38-128 is what I have it, but not 34-17. I consider that a blowout. That's 3-score game, more than 2 touchdowns. For me, that is a team dominated the other one. But hey, that's your take. Before we go, tell both of you, tell them where they can find you.
All right, so
go ahead.
You can follow I'm one of the co-founders of @CheeseFocus on Twitter and Instagram, so you can just follow us there. We do also have a podcast called Cheese Focus First and 10 Show on Anchor, so we will be putting this show up on there for our Chiefs fans to listen to as well. Go ahead, JP. You can.
Yeah, and we're all over the place. We're Cheese Focus First and 10, JP Chiefs. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. So you can find us on any podcast network that you listen to as well. So.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys coming. It was a great conversation, guys. Like I said, go check them out. You can also follow them on Twitter. It's always good to have fans on the other side tweeting at us, especially during the game. I enjoy it. So
I do too.
Hey, thank you so much for coming. And guys, like I told you, I'm gonna be posting different times because my current circumstances, but I appreciate all of you that were here in the live stream, all of you that are watching the replay. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.